Here we go again. Let's get ready for takeoff!
And we are back on the road to glory. Happy holidays. Round one of the college football playoffs is in the books. Move on to the quarterfinals. I'm Sean, joined as always by Steph. Steph, your team is 1-0 in the postseason. Must feel good. How you feeling? Merry Christmas, my brother.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully it's gonna be a Happy New Year for me, man. Like you said, we want to know in the postseason, and we got a big game on New Year's Day, man. So just real excited for that, and I will be in the building. So definitely want to see a dub.
Oh, okay. You gonna be in the building for that one?
Yep. Come on, man. You know I can't miss that for nothing when I live right
No.
in that
Right
state.
there. Yes, sir.
Come on now. I'm a real fan. I'm not like these other
You are,
fans, you know what I'm saying?
of course.
They don't go nowhere, don't go to games. They just do a lot of talking on social media. I really show up in the flesh. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Repping TPS at the playoffs. We love to see it.
Always.
If you guys follow Steph on Twitter, make sure you guys follow along for him and his Instagram. All I know, it'll be a dope time at the Capital One Orange Bowl, as it always is, one of the most classic uh, bowl games in our sport. So should be a dope one. We're going to talk all about that matchup because should be one of the more compelling ones of the. I think it's the closest one in terms of spread out of the four uh, quarterfinals. But we'll get to that when we get to that. First, we have to talk about that first round of the playoffs. Um, then we will talk about obviously make our predictions in the second half of the show, and we'll talk about obviously the big news of today and any other miscellaneous news. Obviously, the transfer portal news has been busting. It officially opens on what, the second, I think, Steph. You know the exact day?
Yeah, it's in January.
Yeah, it's in January. So obviously, a lot of tampering's going on. A lot of players are announcing uh, them being re-signed and all that. Um, Too much to actually go into in detail, but that is in the works. So let's get into the show. Let's talk about some of these first round playoff games. Always love the environments first and foremost. We'll get into that. The environments are always dope. This playoff atmosphere. I think the pageantry of college football has always been one of the top tier selling points of college football. It's just how much fun it is to go to the game, to be in the environment, and even how it expresses itself through the television when you're watching it. Even if you're not there, you're still able to feel the energy, feel the excitement, and it kind of like encapsulate, not encapsulate, what's the word? It just captures you. It just makes you feel like you're a part of the game in the moment. And watching these playoff games and seeing like Oklahoma with the light shows and just Autzen Stadium and what they do. I mean, they do that usually every week, but for the playoffs, it's a little bit special. And then A&M and Ole Miss also the SEC environments, and it was just dope. Just dope to see. I think that's probably the best part about the first round of the playoffs because I don't think there was much good football going on. Some good football. We'll talk about the games, but yeah, great environments, great atmospheres for the most part. Any thoughts on that before we talk about these games?
Um, yeah, I mean, there was, I guess, two good games. If you want to talk about score.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have to spend too much time talking about the Oregon Ole Miss matchup
Right, right.
wins.
I mean, because I don't think we learned anything different about Oregon or Ole Miss,
No,
honestly.
no, we did not. I know a lot of people may have had some questions, obviously, with Lane Kiffin heading to LSU and not being there to coach Ole Miss. But as we all saw, most of us probably predicted, they shouldn't have missed a beat with the amount of staff and the actual people um, that they do have right now for that run. So status was quo. I thought Tulane. Statistically and like by the numbers, I think they played pretty well. Like I think in the first half they outgained Ole Miss. Even throughout the game, they were there neck and neck. It just that doesn't mean much when you lose by 31 points, right? So you got to win in the margins, got to win in the red zone. Can't turn over the ball when you need to. But I'm excited for John Summerall to come to Florida. It was nice to watch the future head coach of the Gators compete in that playoff atmosphere. Still, but yeah, let's talk about those two road games. Friday night, obviously Alabama went on the road to Oklahoma. Big toss up. Very close. I think what was the spread? -1.5, maybe it was, or something like that at the time that we had recorded our podcast last week. We were pretty split on it. I don't remember the exact picks that we made. I could pull it up in a second, but Alabama, they get it done. They pull out that victory over Oklahoma in a pretty stunning fashion. Obviously, Oklahoma jumps out to that, what was it, 17-0 lead.
Yeah.
Um, Stadium is rocking. This feels like Alabama. Um, this is the end of the road for them. Uh, but before halftime, they tied up at 17-17. They go on that run to end the half. Mateer turns the ball over. Those were the more egregious interceptions I've seen in a long time.
Bro, he
That gets
sucks.
returned. That gets returned for 6 points, and yeah, Alabama pretty much dominates the second half. They think they had some really good adjustments in the second half as well, and they get the victory 34-24. Um, Yeah, I don't know. What was your biggest takeaway? I think a lot of us were doubting Bama. I do have it here
Well, I picked Bama.
that we both picked Bama. Um, so yeah, but I don't think either one of us was feeling too confident over that.
No, I wasn't very confident, but my thing about it was Alabama is going to be able to score points, especially when they need to, when they need their offense to make that play to keep them in the game. Alabama is going to get that done, and that's pretty much exactly how it played out. I mean, Oklahoma started off strong, and they honestly did more than I thought they were going to do on offense in the beginning. But then after the first half, it just completely stalled out, and they weren't really able to do anything for the rest of the game. Really, the first quarter. Um, so that was really it. I mean, John Mateer can't really throw the ball. I mean, he just misses so many throws. Miss
And
a
so does
wide
Ty
open
Simpson
guy
too.
for a
He is
touchdown.
missing a lot of throws too.
I mean, but the pick, I don't even understand what that was. How that could even be a miscommunication. I just don't understand what was happening on that play. I don't know, because usually you could tell maybe the receiver ran the wrong route, whether the quarterback or the receiver was wrong. We won't know because we're on the outside, but you could think the quarterback thought one thing and the receiver thought a different thing, and that's why an interception was thrown. But on that, I can't see what was supposed to happen there. Um, but yeah, I mean Oklahoma. I mean both teams can't really run the ball well with running backs. Oklahoma, they're just able to get some good runs with Mateer, but I think this was just a game of two severely flawed teams that have showed how flawed they are all year, and the team with the better offense was able to get it done at the end of the day. I mean, we've seen
Well, I
this time and
mean,
time again when it comes to these higher ranked teams that the offenses win more often than their defense.
yeah, and it's funny you say that because I do agree that Alabama is the better offense, but Oklahoma outgained them by 100 total yards, and most of that came through the air. But both teams obviously, again, it's just awful on the ground. Alabama, their leading rusher had 43 total yards on 9 carries, which I think is like 4.8 yards per carry, which isn't
That's actually
bad.
not a bad average, but
But
I mean only
you
nine
have to
carries.
you have to remember he broke that 130-yard touchdown run, so it's
Yeah,
not.
so it kind of is a bad average.
So it kind of is a bad average. And then
Yeah,
Oklahoma. No better. 33 rushing attempts for 55 total yards.
oh
Obviously,
my
in college
God,
football, sacks are
that's just
included, but their top
egregious.
rusher had, what were you saying?
I was just saying that's egregious.
Yeah. And their top rusher has 36 rushing yards. So, like, again,
Terrible.
This is something we've talked about all season long with those two teams. They can't run the ball. They've been having those issues, and it showed themselves in this game. Alabama was 2 for 12 on third down, really bad. Still won this game. Like this was just not really good football, to be honest. Um, I don't understand how you go up 17-0 at home and lose that game. That is one of the worst choke jobs that we'll see probably in the playoffs for quite a
Yeah,
for quite some time.
I
That's
mean,
not that's not a thing.
when you basically don't score any points for 3 quarters,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
bound to
much.
happen. Because if you look at Alabama, they scored basically the same amount of points in both halves.
Hmm.
At least they had some level of consistency. Yeah, the first quarter, they didn't
True.
really do nothing, but then the second quarter, they went on a crazy run, and then they just continued that momentum into the second half when Oklahoma wasn't really able to do anything, man. I think it was a pretty disappointing performance from them, and I don't know. Um, I don't even know if I want to see another year of Mateer, bro. Like, just
Yeah.
terrible, terrible
Yeah.
passing. He doesn't see the field. He's not a young player, so this isn't going to just magically change over the course of one off season. If you're not seeing it now, he's about to be a senior. So I don't know if he was one of those people that was gonna go to the NFL or something, but jeez, he just doesn't see the field well at all, man. So I don't know if we have to see another year of that at Oklahoma, we might win. We might be in the same position again. They might make the playoffs or do something close, but that's just going to be the story. Is just that offense not being able to make the play. And I just think the quarterback play in the SEC in general was just horrible all year. So many quarterbacks that were hyped, and we'll get into one of the other ones in more detail in a little bit. But what quarterback really wowed you week in and week out from the SEC? Because they had more flops than anything. Arch Manning flop, DJ Lagway flop. They best quarterbacks was Trinidad Chambliss and Diego Pavia.
Diego Pavia, Gunner Stockton.
Crazy, crazy. Just flop after flop, man. Marcel Reed can't throw. What is it with these teams and not being able to have a quarterback that can throw the ball?
I think I think development obviously is the biggest factor. Um, some of these people aren't developing like they're claim to be. But I think also the transfer portal era is different, man. I mean, growing up, these college quarterbacks used to really sit for 2, sometimes 3 years before it was really their time. Then they would play for their year. They would go crazy because they're mature. They understand their system wherever they're at. They got developed, and then they go to the NFL. They would go and they would do for 2 years. Nowadays, it's like if these guys aren't playing the first year, they're transferring and they're going somewhere where they are going to play the first year. And again, I think getting reps and game time is the best way to develop for sure. But I think that also slows down development because you're also learning on the fly. And when you're doing that in the SEC, one of the top two leagues, and it's going to be a lot more downs and ups at first. And
Yeah, I mean, I
and
think I think that's a valid take, but most of these names that I named didn't transfer, like Arch Manning and DJ Lagway
for
and
sure,
Marcel
for sure,
Reed and
I think
John
that's
Mateer. He transferred, but he came with his offensive coordinator, so he's running a system that he knows. And Trinidad Chambliss is a transfer, and he's the best out of all of them.
yeah. But and again, I agree. I think people just can't coach the quarterback position truthfully. I think that's first and foremost. As there's no excuse. A lot of these guys that are supposedly these QB gurus and all that aren't QB gurus. I think the only one that we can consistently in and out. I mean, Lane got this
Right,
guy Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris State
right.
in the playoff, like SEC, like looking elite. Now, a lot of that is probably to the kid's merit. He's a beast, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he's just a
there's
great
only a
player.
few guys really doing that at the top level right now
Look,
in college, at least
because
developing guys.
we hear about the NFL, right? Like, yeah, and you know this, if you watch the NFL, like the defenses in the NFL are just so crazy. Where okay, I understand how they're constantly confusing guys and why it's so hard to get a good quarterback in the NFL. But is that the truth in college? Are people disguising coverages that well? Because it's college kids on the other side as well. I just
True. True. Well, another point I want to ask you is like, do you think the running backification of the quarterback position has affected that too? Like a lot more people are recruiting athletes rather than like developed
mm,
quarterbacks. People are
maybe. I think in some cases maybe,
like, do you think that dual
but
threat killed
again,
the
like a
cerebral
lot of
quarterback? You could be both. I'm
but
not saying you can't be both, but
I mean, I think maybe in some cases, I mean, we see that from Marcel Reed a lot. Like he kind of tries to rely on his athleticism
right.
because the arm portion isn't there. But
I
um,
think I even think about a guy like DJ Lagway. Like if you look at his
yeah,
high school tape, like he was just so physically dominant. Like he was the biggest guy.
yeah,
Like he was running for 90-yard touchdowns. He was breaking sacks here and there. And then like he gets to college and like he's slow. He's like not as athletic as you would thought he is. Obviously he's dealt with injuries, but he can't dominate with his physicality as much as he probably would like to. And that caused him to kind of have to or just caused him to regress a little bit because now he's kind of forced into reading different, I don't know. It's
yeah.
interesting. I think
I
quarterback is
definitely
it,
think that's a part of it though, because you look
yeah,
at these guys and yeah, DJ Lagway was a 5-star recruit and all that, but you know, you also got to look at the competition that these guys are playing against high school. Like you said, if he's just the biggest guy, no one can tackle him. He doesn't have to have much of a football IQ. And I'm not saying DJ Lagway doesn't. I'm just saying you definitely do not need a high football IQ to be a good high school football player. If you're just that physically gifted, they can just tell you to run. They literally can just have plays with one person running a pattern and say, oh, if this guy's not open, then just run it. And because your guy is that elite of an athlete, you're going to be successful more often than not. So, that is the type of stuff that goes on in high school. Um, a lot of these people don't come from these elite schools where they have the best coaching and things like that. It's really hard to find good coaching at public high school. I mean, yeah, certain states are better than others. Obviously, Texas and Florida and California are probably better, but again, a lot of those schools are probably private schools as well, especially in Florida and California. And it's just tough to get good coaching at a young age, and then you're asking these guys to make a significant jump in the mental part of the game from high school to college, and I think a lot of times it's just not there. But I'm also looking at a lot of these names like like an Arch Manning. Trying to think who else that we might have flopped this year, but a lot of these guys aren't necessarily the most athletic or are relying on their
Norris
athleticism.
Sellers,
Um, yeah, I mean he's another one.
Garrett
He's another
Nussmeier
one.
flopped.
Yeah, Nussmeier. I mean, just a lot. Basically, every quarterback that was returning to college that we thought was going to take a jump flop in that conference. Because, like I said, it's really just Trinidad Chambers and then Diego
Yeah,
Pavia was a returner, but then Chambers came from another school. So, you know,
it's true. That's the thing
it's
that's big.
it's it's
That's part of the
crazy.
reason why I think the SEC has been, and I put this in air quotes, down. There's been bad quarterback play, man.
Yeah,
Big Ten has had way superior quarterback play over the past handful of years. And
yeah,
football is a quarterback-led sport. I mean, obviously, um, yeah, no, it is. Football is a quarterback-led sport, and obviously because it's quarterback-led, that tends to mean that the people protecting the quarterback and the people going after the quarterback are just as important, or sometimes more important. But
yeah,
most of the times, if you have a strong quarterback, a good quarterback, you are going to go far in college football. And yeah, I think I think that's gonna kind of show itself right now in the college football playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's not get too hasty. Still got one more first round playoff game to talk about, and that was Miami on the road taking on A&M, pulling off the slide upset, 10-3. think the spread was A&M minus 3.5. We both went with A&M. Um, yeah, man, Miami actually had the correct formula. Mario Cristobal looked like the more veteran, established coach. Very rarely,
You think so? Because he was still
yeah.
calling stupid ass timeouts.
I don't disagree with that. Like Mario
Stop
Cristobal is
calling
not
stupid ass
perfect.
timeouts.
He's not perfect. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Miami's going to go on a run. I think Miami's probably the worst team left in the field. I think they're going to lose next week.
You think
But
so?
yeah, I think, yeah, for sure. I mean, they play Ohio
Either
State.
them or Alabama.
Yeah, they might be a little bit better than Alabama, but
Yeah.
I think, I think still you could see Cristobal has been there before and they knew what style, what brand, what kind of game they had to play to win. And they did it. I mean, all year long, I have been saying I'm not a Carson Beck believer. And all year long, he's kind of proved me right. Coming into this playoff game, I think they're very self-aware, very self-reflective, took the time off to really self-scout, see what their weaknesses are, recognize, hey, Carson Beck, if the game is in his hand, or if we don't go as far as Carson Beck takes us, basically is what I'm trying to say. Like he is not the key. The key is the run game. Because the run game travels. If you run the ball, you can control, time of possession. You can do all those kinds of things. That's basic football. That's football 101. You want to run the ball. And yeah, I think they executed it great. Carson Beck only threw for 103 yards, 14 of 20. But I mean, you didn't want him to do much. You didn't want him to go on the road and have to sling it 40 times like
You
Marcel
didn't
Reed
want your
did.
senior quarterback to go on the road and sling
No, no, that's not. He's not good. He is what he is the best that they have right now. Right at this point in the season, you have Carson Beck. That is a decision you made. He is trash, and you recognize that as a coach. Like, all right, at this point, this guy is trash. So how can we win with this trash quarterback? And that's how you do it. You keep the ball out of his hands. You make things easy for him, and you run the ball. And that's exactly what they did. A&M got bullied. They straight up got bullied for all the praise their front seven has gotten all year, deservedly so. They played really well. They got bullied, and it just makes some of those haters that were saying, "Hey, their whole schedule is the bottom half of the SEC. They beat nobody. They're really not that good." It makes them sound kind of right because what is it? The top four teams, top three teams that they played this year, they lost all games, all those games, and then they beat everybody else. They got their best one is what, Notre Dame,
yeah.
and Notre Dame didn't even make the playoffs. So I mean, I know you got some thoughts about Marcel Reed specifically because he is tragic. He was definitely tragic in this one.
Can't really throw the ball, man.
And they didn't run
Um,
well either. They couldn't run it either. A&M's offense was pretty pathetic. I mean, both offenses were, but
yeah,
uh,
I mean, but I also got to give credit to both defenses. I mean, you only allow 10 points. I mean, you should win
yeah,
that game.
yeah, that's true. Ruben Bain for my on Miami side and Messidor as well. Those two guys are freaks. Um, yeah, I I don't want to again, like I said to start off, I don't want to sit here and gas at Miami all of a sudden. I think they're obviously dangerous, and Ohio State is going to take them seriously, as they should. Malachi Tony, um, I thought it was dope to see him have his moment where he obviously fumbled. He was on the bench looking really down, and then he comes back and he's able to make the play to help his team. But yeah, I just don't trust Miami again against Ohio State. Um, A&M was able to really limit this offense. I think Ohio State's defense is probably better than A&M's defense, or just as good. So I think they're going to be able to do a lot of the same things that A&M did and not let Mark Fletcher go for 200 yards. So we'll see. We'll talk about these other games in a second, but any other final thoughts about Texas A&M and their season?
I saw a post about how that was the worst 11 win season of all time. And I think I agree because you lost to basically every good team that you played
Yeah.
or team with talent that you played. They didn't win a conference, didn't win a playoff game, just fell on your face in typical Texas A&M fashion. And yeah, I think it was a super disappointing end. Only putting up 3 points at home That's just sad. That's just sad. 3 points. You couldn't score more than 3 points. I mean, SMU put up 20 something against this team. Didn't Louisville put up 21, 24, or something like that?
Yep. This is the Miami team that got fried in the ACC. Like this is not like a
Come on, man.
juggernaut.
Yeah, they lost to Louisville and SMU. And you couldn't even put up more than 3 points.
Can't run the ball. That's the three SEC teams: Oklahoma, Bama, and A&M. Nobody can run the ball combined. Like they're just that's not a winning brand of football.
Why is the SEC so soft?
They're trash, bro. I'm not gonna lie. They're trash. We're seeing
How
it
do
play
you
out right
get
here in front of
bullied?
our eyes.
How do you get bullied by an ACC team? You're supposed to be the mighty SEC. What's happening?
The fifth place ACC team.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So
That's nasty.
That means Duke would body y'all. Well,
Yeah,
not you, but A&M.
yeah. Duke might mollywop them.
Nah, but for real
Nah.
though, this is so crazy. The SEC, they have so many teams that just can't run the ball. The Alabama, Oklahoma, A&M. What is up with that? I mean, they not getting the lineman or something. I mean, we need to do like a deep dive on why so many of these teams just can't run the ball.
Yeah, yeah. It's bad football for sure. And the two teams that can run the football, Ole Miss and Georgia, they're playing against each other. Talk about that game in a little bit. That should be a fun one. But yeah, uh, it's a tough look right now for the SEC truthers because they've been getting fried. But all right, let's switch gears. We've already been kind of talking about some of these games from next week. So let's fully commit. Let's get on over. Let's talk about Wednesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 7:30 p.m. ESPN at AT&T Stadium, Miami. They travel to Ohio State. Or travel to, no, they don't travel anywhere, but they play against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl Classic. Ohio State, 9.5 point favorite heading into the game. So almost 10 points. I think that's pretty fair in my mind and how I see this game playing out. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, Ohio State has the best defense in the country. Miami is very limited and has a specific way that they need to win games. And I think Ohio State is going to be able to focus on that and make them have to, spread it out. Carson Beck, throw the ball 40 times. And then we're all going to see what Carson Beck does. Every single time when there's pressure and the game is in his hands, we're going to see what he does. 2, 3 interceptions. And Ohio State is going to take advantage of those interceptions, those turnovers, those takeaways. Get up 21, put 21 points on the board or something like that. And Miami is not going to be able to get anywhere close to that. So I think this is pretty clear cut, in my opinion. Again, I think Miami has playmakers. Malachi Tony is a freak. That a lot of guys on their defensive line could definitely disrupt the game. I don't know. You have to give me more intel on Ohio State's offensive line if you have any. But uh, I'm feeling pretty good from Ohio State um, side and as a Miami hater. But I don't know. You think they have a chance to at least cover?
Hmm, I think they have a chance to cover, but the problem is, I think that their passing game is not even going to exist. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
that Ohio State's defense is going to be just a boa constrictor, man. I
Hmm.
don't really see Miami being able to do anything. I mean, you got Caleb Downs out there. Miami's best receiver is a true freshman, and their quarterback just hasn't really been very good all year. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before in the A&M game. I mean, he just hasn't been very good. And Ohio State also has one of the best defense coordinators in Matt Patricia. I think they're going to be able to create some turnovers, man. If Miami even lets them throw the ball at all. I mean, they might get forced to throw the ball, and that's when I think Ohio State really puts a dagger in the game.
One thing I want to ask you about, because I think this is not too big of a deal, but maybe it could be. Um, but as we all know, Brian Hartline did take that job at USF. I don't know the details on whether or not he's going to be with Ohio State, but I do know for sure that Ryan Day is going to be the play caller for this upcoming game. Now, I'm pretty sure Brian Hartline has been the play caller over this past year, maybe even last year. I think maybe last year he wasn't. I think at least this year he has been.
Last year it was Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Okay, yeah, yeah. So this year he has been. So that's going to be a different dynamic. Obviously it's the same offense. The players aren't changing. Nothing is changing besides the head coach is now calling the plays. But it's two different guys in your headset, as Julian's saying. You're hearing two different voices now. They have two different ways, two different styles. So it's going to be a little bit different. Ryan Day is obviously capable. So I don't think they're in a bad spot with that or anything. But um, just an interesting tidbit, piece of lore in this game that who knows how it could affect.
I don't know if it affects the game very much. I mean, Ryan Day was the play caller before. Um,
Hmm.
but I just think that it's gonna be the same system. Um, Brian Hartline is still gonna be with them, but he's just not calling plays. I mean, kind of makes sense. He's
Hmm.
taking another job, but wants to
Yeah.
finish the season at Ohio State. So yeah,
A&M's play
like
caller, did he take another job? Is it Klein? Did he take a different job? Because I thought I heard,
Colin Klein, I don't
yeah.
remember.
Because I
I
know
don't remember.
he called plays, but I think he was away from the team. Um, what about Will Stein? How's that working? Is he just officially with Kentucky, or is same with Lupoy, Taj Lupoy? How is Oregon working?
Both of them are still calling the plays.
Calling plays, okay, with
Yep,
the team. Okay.
yep.
Speaking of Oregon, let's kick it over to Thursday, New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026. First college football game of the new year. Oregon, Texas Tech in that Orange Bowl, like we mentioned. Steph, you will be in the building. Oregon, a slight favorite, 2.5 points, about a field goal. This is a very compelling matchup. Texas Tech, I think, is a big wild card still. Um, this is really our first look at how they're going to play at against really this top tier competition, because it's exactly what Oregon is, a top five team, top five program over the past couple of years. Um, Talk to me, Steph. Are you guys getting fully healthy? How do you feel about this matchup? Feeling confident, not confident? What do you think about Texas Tech? Lay it out for us.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous about this game. I am.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I would be
you
too.
know, if you just look at Oregon's season, I mean, we did lose to the best team that we played in Indiana. Granted, they are the number one team in the country, and I think they're better than Texas Tech. But you know, um, I know we have to play well to beat this team. I mean, I'm not taking Texas Tech lightly at all. Um, I think they have a really good team. Their strength is obviously the defense. I mean, their front seven is pretty good, so I'm curious to see how we run the ball against them. And but at the same time, I mean, we're also the best team that Texas Tech will have played all season. They lost to Arizona State. I know they didn't have their quarterback for that game, but I mean, was the best team they played. BYU, Utah. I mean, in terms of talent, they haven't played anybody that's like Oregon. And I think us losing to Indiana definitely lit a fire under our ass, and I think that our team, especially Dante, has learned and grown a lot from that game, and I think they're going to be ready to prove what type of team they are in this game. So I think we'll get a good game out of us, and I'm going to pick us to cover, but I think that we really got to play well. Um, because again, you could talk about Texas Tech's defense and all that, but they haven't played an offense that's anywhere near as good as ours. And we're getting guys back healthy again. Decoria Moore and Gary Bryant played in the game against JMU. Evan Stewart did dress for warmups and then didn't play in the game. So there's still hope that he might play against Texas Tech, but I'm not really counting on that. But um, yeah, like we're getting guys healthy. I think we're gonna be our normal balanced selves again, and I think that we ultimately come away with a W. I think it might end up being a little bit more lopsided than people might expect, but um, I think the Ducks are going to be flying high on January 1st, man.
Do you worry about anybody on Texas Tech's offense? Are there any playmakers or any players on that side of the ball that really
Mm,
stand out to you? Obviously, Barry
Not
Morton has
really.
been a really solid quarterback, but nobody, no running backs, wide receivers that really you
I
feel
mean,
threatened by.
individually, no. I think they have some good players.
Yeah, for sure. I
I
mean,
think they have good players. They have
yeah,
some good receivers, but nobody that I'm just like, oh, we can't cover that guy. No Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate type receivers. Nothing like that.
for sure. Yeah, I think this game was a bit of a mystery. We'll see how Texas Tech stacks up against this top tier Big Ten Titan. Um, Big 12 has fared pretty well in the playoffs over the past couple of years. Let's see if they can get themselves another win um, over a beatable Oregon team. Let's move forward to that 4 p.m. window. ESPN. It's the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. Alabama against Indiana. Another crimson, scarlet, red kind of matchup. Um, man, what a time. What a time to be alive where Indiana is a clear favorite in a playoff game. Maybe an overwhelming favorite in a playoff game against Alabama. Like, what timeline are we in? But I guess that's what happens when Nick Saban retires and then goes to Indiana, basically. Kirk Cignetti is a great coach. Not much more to say about that. But yeah, it is crazy that how good Indiana is. I think Indiana, um, like I mentioned, is the overwhelming favorite. I do like them to cover in this game. Alabama, they're just so flawed, man. They're just so flawed. And Coach Ignetti has um, shown time and time and again that him and his coaching staff are able to develop a game plan just to always exploit those flaws, take advantage of those flaws, and really not to make mistakes on their own end. They play such a clean cut, disciplined brand of football. It's really going to be an uphill battle for a team like Alabama. Um, although Alabama does have the talent advantage, still, as good as Indiana is, I think Alabama is the more talented team. Now, Indiana has proven that they can punch above their weight class. They beat Ohio State, who is also clearly more talented than them. They also beat Oregon, who is clearly more talented than them. So I don't think that's really an issue for Indiana, but that's maybe a trope or what's the word? Like a joker card for Alabama. Like, yeah, like we might not be a good team, but we have the better athletes, and maybe on that day they're the better team. But that's really wishing on a star, in my opinion. I think Indiana blows them out of the water.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Indiana is just good at everything. I mean, they're so well
Hmm.
coached. Their players are always in the right spot. I mean, that's really all there is to it. They have a good quarterback. They got good running backs, good receivers. Their O line blocks. I mean, like they do everything, man. Their
Yeah,
defense is so sound. I mean, it's weird since they beat my team, but I just really love watching them play. Um, I mean, Kurt Signetti is definitely one of the best coaches in the country. I mean, just the job that he's doing over there is just second to none. I mean, this is the best turnaround that we've ever seen in my entire life, maybe in the entire sport. I mean, Indiana has been ass for 100 years. 100. Do you realize they've been horrible their entire existence of the university? Since they've been playing football, they've never been good. Kurt Signetti comes in and immediately turns them into a 10-win team. And then they go 13 and 0. Well, the last year they went 11 and 1. Then they went 13 and 0. Won the Big Ten. Come on, man. Nobody's doing anything like that. That man is a beast. And Alabama, I mean, we keep talking about it, and it's late in the season. It's going to be the same old story. They can't run the ball. I mean, their receivers are pretty good, but nothing too spectacular. I mean, Ryan Williams has been a flop. Their defense is pretty good. They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. Indiana should win this game by multiple scores if they're the team that we think they are, and be moving on to the semis.
100% agree. Um, I think Bama has a chance to be in this game. I do. I really do. But I don't think Indiana is really going to mess around. That's not really in their DNA, in my mind. I
Yeah.
don't feel like they're a team that plays with their food. Um, Pause. But all right, let's end the triple header with 8 o'clock Caesar Superdome in New Orleans. It's the Sugar Bowl between Ole Miss and Georgia. Georgia favored by a touchdown. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, I think that's a little bit too much, in my opinion. Last time these two teams played, uh, what was the outcome?
I'm pretty sure Georgia won.
43-35. Yes. Okay, I remember that game. Um, I I think Ole Miss to cover that, to be honest. I think Georgia is the better team, and I think Georgia probably wins. Like if I had to bet on the money line, I would take the Georgia money line. But because we're betting spread only, I don't know if I feel confident in Georgia winning by a touchdown. I
What's the
know that's
spread?
6.5, a touchdown. So
Mm,
it's not hard for them to do. I
I'll
think it's
take
a
that.
think it's a possibility, but I don't know. Miss has been playing some pretty good football. They're obviously inspired right now with the whole
I'm going.
situation that's been going on. But
I'm going dogs cover. I know you don't want to hear that, but
yeah, I don't. Um, yeah, I think Georgia is the SEC's best chance this year based on what we've seen on the field. Georgia's, I think, the team similar to Ohio State last year that's really starting to heat up. Um, that was getting better as the season was going by or going along. I don't think that's reserved to one team. I think many teams can, feel that way. But I think Georgia specifically, we really saw it, especially in the SEC championship game. They're firing at all cylinders. It's going to be an uphill battle for Ole Miss, but I think they're equipped for it, man. They got a good coaching staff. They got a really good quarterback. Um, we were just talking about how this is a quarterback-driven sport. And I think the team with the better quarterback always has a chance. I think obviously Gunnar Stockton has performed up to par this year, to probably better than what some people expected. Definitely better than what I expected. He's been pretty solid for them. So I don't think Georgia's lacking in that department um, at all. But I do give the slight advantage to Trinidad. shameless. I think turnovers are going to be the key as to any game. Both teams can run the ball, so who really can stop the run is going to be key as well. I think a lot of people sleep on Ole Miss's defense, man. Pete Golding has really turned that unit around. Um, uh, they lost a lot last year, man. They lost Walter Nolan, Princely Human Milan. I think they lost a few pieces out of their secondary as well. I really thought they were going to take a step back. I thought they were going to always score points with Lane Kiffin, but I thought that defense for sure was not going to be good enough to do it, and it has been all year long. Again, Ole Miss has one loss all year long, and it's to Georgia. And we said it last week. It's hard to beat a team twice, but Georgia's like Thanos, so it's not that's not regular. They're not. It's not a regular team. When you're fighting Thanos, what was it? You have 1 in 14 million trillion chances. What did Doctor
It was
Strange
like it
say?
was like it was like a million something.
Yeah, like yeah, not. It's very slim scenarios here, but I guess it's out there. I guess it's out there for them. So let's go see if Ole Miss can take it. I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited
going
though.
Georgia cover, man.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, that's definitely the safe bet. And again, if it was money line, I'm taking that Georgia money line as well. Hard to bet against them. But all right, that locks us in for our uh quarterfinal picks. Should be a fun couple of days of football. We'll be here to cover it all. Let's switch gears though before we get into clown of the week and close out the show. Let's talk about Michigan. Obviously, Michigan has been in the headlines over the past couple weeks. Not not anything good, but finally some good news for the Wolverines out there as they have announced their next head coach, and that will be Kyle Whittingham, former coach, longtime coach at Utah. I think he took over once Urban Meyer left Utah for University of Florida, and he was
Yep.
there. He was there at Utah ever since, and he um, stepped down a couple of weeks ago from Utah. Now there was some speculation that he was retiring, but he quickly came out, put out a statement, and refuted that, basically saying, "No, I'm not retiring. I need it's time for a change." I think some people at Utah were getting kind of frustrated with maybe lack of results recently, and just felt like it was best for both parties to maybe change uh change or you know but yeah, Kyle Whittingham found a new job at Michigan, one of the most prestigious programs in all of college football, one of the top universities in the country. I think that's a great landing spot for him, obviously, and I think that's an even better look for Michigan. A great hire. um Me and you specifically have been saying this guy is one of the best coaches in college football since we've had this podcast. We've had nothing but massive respect for what he's done at his time at Utah. Um, he's had Utah humming. I mean, that's one of the top programs in the Big 12. Obviously, again, I think why they wanted to change is because they haven't quite gotten over that hump. But I think he does everything uh, you want. He's the kind of that's the kind of program you want your program to get to emulate, to be honest. And I think he's a good fit at Michigan. He knows the Midwest. Um, he's a little bit older, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. I think it's a great hire, man. I would feel excited. I think anywhere that hired this guy, I would be excited for. I think he's just that kind of coach. If he can win at Utah, you can win at Michigan. I'm not going to say they're going to become all of a sudden the number one team, number one program in the country, because again, the truth is he has struggled over the past couple of years to get over that hump to really take grasp of the Big 12 at Utah. But I mean, you have limited resources at Utah, really, you do. So Michigan, unlimited resources, pretty much. Let's let's see what happens. And he brings stability, really. He brings stability. I mean, anybody that's a coach somewhere for 20 plus years and has won more than half of those years, it's you feel pretty comfortable hiring that guy to lead your program. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is definitely not a long-term play, because he is a little older, and he's probably going to retire in a few years. But I think he is exactly the kind of coach that they do need after all the scandals, because that's one thing that hasn't happened during Whittingham's career is scandals, and I think that he's going to raise Michigan's floor as a program, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're in the college football playoff in the near future.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely see him being able to retain a lot of the talent that Michigan already has in the building as well as in their class. And yeah, I think give him a couple years, give him 1 year, give him 2 years, and Michigan definitely will be knocking back on the door of being one of the top programs in the Big Ten. Big Ten's competitive though. Oregon and Indiana, two new players added to the field. Obviously, Penn State, maybe he's going to take a step back and not be a perennial Big Ten contender, but the top of the Big Ten starting to get pretty crowded, man. Some good programs out there. Uh, his deal was for 5 years, averages 8.2 million per year over the course of the contract. 75% of the contract is guaranteed, and he's expected to make 8 million in salary in 2026. He is 66 years old. Um, and I think he does plan to be uh, with Michigan for their bowl game. He went 177 and 88 in 21 seasons at Utah, including a perfect 13 0 season in 2008. His resume, which includes a 66.8% win percentage, um, is such expected that he is going to be a college football Hall of Fame inductee once he does decide to retire. So seems like Utah fumbled the bag a little bit there. Because like, who are you going to hire that's better than him at Utah? Especially when your rival BYU just retained their guy, one of the other top coaches, and kept him away from the other top Big Ten school, Penn State. So feels like Utah is in the mud a little bit. And Kyle Whittingham just was kind of feeling unwanted, and then he came out and kind of said that, and it was like, if you don't want me, well, I'm gone. I'm not going to sit here and like, I've been here and did all this stuff, and y'all are ungrateful. I'm about to go show you what I'm about to do at Michigan. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. Um, any other news or topics or thoughts before we get into God of the Week?
Um, Not really. I don't think so. I think we hit everything.
Yeah, I thought so. I feel like maybe we're missing something, but I don't think so. I don't think we'll hit it next time if we did forget something. But all right, let's play the music. Let's get into Cloud of the Week. Actually, yes, we did miss something. Um, maybe we could talk about this in Cloud of the Week. Actually, let me keep the music going. All right, it's everybody's favorite segment. It is Clown of the Week, and like I mentioned, I think we did forget to mention something, and I don't know if this maybe qualifies, but it is kind of clownish. Um, Notre Dame, you guys are going to be one of my clowns of the week as they have failed to reach an agreement to extend their historic season with
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
USC. Uh, that is insane to me. Um, there are um, administrators that are in talks, and they do plan to work towards restarting the series as soon as 2030 potentially, but uh, to have a whole cycle of kids not play in that Notre Dame USC game is absolutely tragic. And Notre Dame to not agree with your best opportunity at a win, at an impactful win every single year, your biggest rivals, a year after. being left out of the playoffs because nobody respected your schedule is just absolute clownery, and I don't get how they let that happen. I feel like Notre Dame is going to kind of walk themselves into a corner, and they're going to be in a very bad spot um, if their leadership and the people that make decisions in their program figure shit out. Don't figure shit out. You know what I mean?
I don't feel bad for him. I think this is karma
Yeah.
because, like you said, they got left out of the playoffs. Then they decided we're not going to play in any bowl game because we're big babies and we're not going to take accountability for us not winning enough games and not even playing a bowl game. And this is what happens. So now no one wants to play you. I know that's not the reason why USC isn't playing them, but it goes in line with it. Um, it'll just be another game against a good team that they won't have. Um, so this is karma for Notre Dame. I don't feel bad for them at all. And then next year when they don't have any good wins on their schedule and they're sitting around like, oh, why aren't we in the playoffs? This is gonna be the reason. Because when you think about it, USC does not need them as much as Notre Dame needs USC. USC is in the Big Ten. They're going to be playing multiple games against other good teams every single year. And they tried to keep the game. They wanted to move it to September because they wanted to do it before conference play. But Notre Dame said no. They wanted to keep it at the end of the season. And this is why, because just like this year, what happened? They played their two best games in the beginning, lost, but then didn't have any good wins at the end of the season. Just USC was the only one that you could say. So they wanted to keep that at the end. But the problem is when you're an independent and everybody you play is in a conference, it's hard to schedule games in October and November because that's when everyone's a conference play. So all that is filled up for most teams.
Right. Nobody wants
Oh,
to come off of Georgia,
right,
Vandy, Texas back to back to back, and then play Notre Dame. Like, nah, and
right,
nah, yeah.
right. And it's really tough to do. So I mean Notre Dame, it's just in this era
Join a
of football,
conference
it's
low,
just
bro.
yeah, it's getting more and more difficult for Notre Dame to play an independent schedule because yeah, there's gonna be teams that'll play you that'll make room in their schedule to play you, but not any teams that are the big brands
Yeah.
because they they can lose more than they can gain in that situation. Um,
I know Notre Dame in the Big Ten would be cinema, man. It would be.
I mean, it just fits. I mean, geographically, they're in the Midwest with most of the other Big Ten. A lot of their rivals are in the Big Ten already. Like they would
Yeah,
be playing
it would be
Michigan pretty
amazing.
frequently, so they could bring that back. I
Hmm.
mean, they would be playing USC again. It would fit.
Yeah, the
And
Big
I've been
Ten.
saying that. Okay,
Go ahead. No, let's finish. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I've been saying that for a long time, man. Even before the latest realignment that Notre Dame should join the Big Ten because it does just fit. But I mean, they're Notre Dame is not going to be in a conference unless they are absolutely forced to, and at that point, it might not even be the Big Ten. So, you know,
Yeah, I agree. I think um that would be great for them joining the Big Ten. They'd start making. They probably make a little bit more money too. Actually, I don't know. I know they're independent deals and all that. They make
they
a
make a
boatload of money.
lot of money,
Yeah, I know they
man.
make. I know they make a boatload of money. So I'm not sure about that. But I don't think the Big Ten would be a huge step down or anything. It's not like they would be brokies all of a sudden because they joined the Big Ten. They're still Notre Dame. They would still, be okay. But enough about that. Uh, my next clown of the week goes to the Lions fan. What's Buddy's name? Let's find his name. Ryan Kennedy. Um, don't know if you guys were watching any NFL football over the past weekend, but Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf seemed to get into an altercation with the fan where he grabbed his hair and kind of pulled him over the side of the stands and then seemed to like throw a punch. or something. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was caught on video, obviously, and then there was a whole big um, social media fiasco afterwards, where supposedly the Span and DK uh, have had a prior interaction back when DK was a member of the Seattle Seahawks. DK claimed that this guy also made some, racist comments, some comments about his mom as well. This guy just, the fan said that all he mentioned was, DK's full government name and yada, yada, yada. There's videos that kind of make it seem like both of them are lying. Um, I don't really know what to think. I think DK is an idiot and lost himself a lot of money, or potentially lost himself a lot of money. I don't think he's gonna lose out on all his guarantees and all that. But like, as I don't know, as a grown ass man, like, don't you have anything better to do than to like troll NFL players? I don't know. I just think what's your take on the situation? Like, do you think DK is at fault for doing what he did? Like,
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, you just can't hit a fan.
hmm
Like you make too much money to be worried about what some random dude in the crowd is saying, bro. You make too much money. Like you an NFL player and that dude is a random fan. You can't be worried about what that fool is saying. Not enough to the point where you're gonna put hands on him. If you want to say something,
right,
say something. But
right.
you just can't put your hands on people like that. I mean, it's not gonna turn out well for you, even if you're in the right. Like, do I think that dude deserves to get punched in the face? Yeah. I mean, he's a total clown, like totally fit for clown of the week. But I care about the players, you know, and I just don't want to see anybody lose their career over something stupid like that. Because we know that's what will happen. In that situation, the player is going to get penalized more than the fan. Nothing's going to happen to the fan, but the player, what's going to happen? He's going to get suspended. He's going to lose money. He's probably going to miss out on brand deals and things that were potentially happening. These are all things that you got to think about when you're in these situations. You know, um, at the end of the day, I mean, everybody walking through life, I mean, we've all probably wanted to punch somebody in the face, whether it was at work or just in public. But at the end of the day, you can't do it if you're somebody that's got something to lose. If you got family, if you got things that you're trying to do, if you're just trying to stay out of jail, you can't do it. It is what it is. It's part of being an adult. You know, like if I hit everybody I wanted to hit in the face, I wouldn't even be able to do a podcast because I would be in jail. Like
Yeah.
maybe they let people do podcasts in jail nowadays, but I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't even be able to do half the stuff that I'm able to do right now because, I just be in trouble all the time. So, you always gotta think about what's more important in your life. Is you, putting hands on this person more important, or is you, focusing on what you need to be focusing on, like your career, like your family, putting food on the table for your people and things like that. Or is that more important? Because you can move on, you could go home, not even be thinking about that fan. That fan still be thinking about you the whole time because he's a nobody and you're somebody. So the fact that this dude is even getting this publicity is crazy. Because really, what people don't realize is when you don't put energy towards something, is a lot of times when it goes away, even when you want to. Somebody says something slick, you want to say something slick back. But if you just let it go, then the situation dies down because you're not putting any energy towards it. It's like, a lot of times if you're just having conversation with somebody, or if you might get into an argument with somebody, if you just wouldn't have said anything, or if you would not have, matched their energy, everybody always wants to match people's energy, but sometimes you don't have to match people's energy. That's how you make situations go away. It's like when you argue back with somebody, then they just argue back even more. Now it's just two people getting louder and louder and louder. So you just got to be smart in your life, and understand, like, look, I'm the guy that he wants to be. People like that will tear you down, and they just gonna go back to whatever they was doing before, and you will have ruined your whole career. And they don't care. Nobody's gonna nobody is gonna be by your side when you ruin the good thing that you got going on. So you really just gotta worry about yourself. Like you can't be going up to fans in the crowd and putting your hands on them. You just can't do it. So, I think the dude's a clown, but at the same time, like that was very
So is
dumb by
DK.
DK Metcalf.
So is
Yeah,
DK. Yeah.
that was very dumb. Just very dumb. Like, I mean, have we ever seen an NFL player put their hands on somebody like that before?
That was wild. That was definitely 101. Oh well, we have. I mean, Lamar Jackson shoved somebody last year. There was also somebody else a couple of years ago before that Lamar Jackson situation had a similar interaction with a fan. Um, but Lamar was more of a of a shove. He didn't throw a punch. DK, he like had his
Where was
hair.
Lamar to even shove somebody?
I think it was Buffalo.
But like where it was like how is he
He
even next to fans to where people are walking next to him?
no, it was during the game. He scored a touchdown or something like that, or he was like celebrating with somebody out of bounds, and the guy grabbed. You don't remember that? And the guy grabbed him a couple times, and like he was trying to get off, and the guy kept grabbing him, and he pushed. Look it up after the
There
show.
was a guy on the field, like a guy on the field.
There was a guy in the stands. No, it was a guy in the stands.
Also, he was next to the stands,
Yeah, he was
and the
like,
guy was able to reach him.
yeah, like let's say like he threw the ball out of bounds to somebody out of bounds, and the guy caught on the sideline. Like the guy rolled and like hit the wall
Yeah,
on the sideline. Then he like ran to the wall to go get his mans or like celebrate with his mans, and then all the fans, you know how they can tap the top of your helmet
yeah,
sometimes if
yeah.
like you're close
Like they
enough.
they they're close enough to grab you. Okay, that makes
Yes,
sense.
yeah, one of the fans
So a
was.
guy was grabbing. All right, well
I
then,
think he
all
was
right,
grabbing him. I
yeah,
don't remember exactly what it was, but he was
okay.
messing with him enough where Lamar did a whole shove, and then yeah, it was all over. It was everywhere, but it wasn't as like again, DK. If DK would have connected with what he did, like he would have punched the shit out of him, low key. He like grabbed his hair and then threw his hand up, like threw his hair back at him, but like it was a punch. It was low key a punch.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're putting your hands on people, like that's the other thing. Like when you put your hands on somebody, things can just escalate so much.
Yes. Yep.
Like it could just get to the point where now you're just too far gone, because what if that guy hits you back? You're not gonna hit him back, like because
Yeah.
that guy very well could have hit you at that point, and then he wouldn't have even been, in the wrong at that point anymore. Okay, you put your hands on him, but then, if he puts his hands on you after that, then like what are you gonna say after that? You know, like once you put your hands on people, like they, anything can happen. So, just really just trying to keep everybody safe. That's really the other thing
For
too.
sure.
Like, you don't want anything bad to happen, like between a fan and a player, because you know what'll happen after that? There will be some kind of rule that's made that takes
Mhm.
away the fun for everybody for the whole rest of the future. Like, there's gonna be some rule change that happens that completely, changes everything, and now fans can't even be close to the field or nothing like that no more. Like, because some incident like that happened. I mean, we're already having those talks with the field storming in college football. All it takes is for one player to punch some fan in the face and somebody gets hurt, and that's it.
Mhm.
They'll ban field storming. So, you just always got to be mindful of the things that are going on, because they might affect, it more people than just you. You know.
Yeah. I have one more clown of the week, but I'll let you go ahead and get yours off, and then once you get yours, I'll close out.
All right. So my clown of the week is Cal offensive lineman Jordan
Oh man.
Spasojevic Moko. See, you already know where I'm going with this. So for those of you that don't know, Cal in Hawaii played in a bowl game a few days ago. And after the game, a brawl broke out and both teams were fighting. And it started because a Cal offensive lineman snuck a Hawaii defensive back. I mean, straight up sucker punch. You can see on video the guys is just walking. He's not even saying anything to anybody. It looks like a regular end of game video. Two teams just walking off until you see the Cal offensive lineman go behind the Hawaii player and just deck him in the head and drop him. And of course, people saw it, rushed in, and both teams started fighting. And it turns into a brawl because the other team, even though their guys in the wrong, they don't know that. They just see everybody fighting and go jump in. And it's at that point, it's like you're just hitting somebody in the other color. Um, so that guy really started a whole brawl because who knows what happened, and it was a sneak at that. If you want to start a fight, go ahead and start a fight, but be a man about it. Don't hit somebody from behind, somebody way smarter than you at that. I mean, you're an offensive lineman, sucker punching a defensive back. I mean, why don't you step to another lineman? Why are you hitting a defensive back? I mean, the likelihood that y'all were even talking trash to each other during the game is low. I don't know what transpired before that. I didn't see the game. Um, but again, it's like a old lineman punching a defensive back. I mean, what are y'all even saying to each other during the game that would spill over to after the game? So I really don't understand that. And then a sucker punch at that, like I said, why are you sucker punching somebody? If you want to fight, I'm not against people fighting if it's a fair fight. But again, you're fighting somebody way smaller than you, and then you sucker punch them. That's clown behavior, man. So that's all I gotta say about that. I'm not a fan of sucker punching. I'm not a fan of anything like that. Um, so I wonder what's gonna cover that, but it can't be anything good.
Yeah, that was definitely corny as hell. Especially like you mentioned, the guy smaller than you. It's just I feel like there's a time and place for everything. Um, but all right, to wrap it up, my final clown of the week is going to be Puka Nakua and his brother Samson Nakua. So the Nakua brothers um, start off with the bigger clown, Samson Nakua, who was arrested for stealing a vehicle that reportedly belonged to Lakers forward Ado Tiero. Supposedly, him and somebody else just took the vehicle without the owner's consent from the stadium that night and just drove it home. And these dumbasses valet parked it at a hotel. Like, did they think this was GTA where you go into the garage and like you lose the stars now? Like,
Yeah, you go to the apartment and the cops go away.
yeah, like what? Like, bro, if you steal a car, you're not supposed to go valet park it and chill. Like, that is the most idiotic shit ever. And then Puka Nacua, I'm not even gonna get into him. I mean, obviously, we all know about the Aiden Ross stream. I have plenty of
First
thoughts
of
about
all,
that.
you a clown for even hanging out with Aiden
Yeah,
Ross.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
first of
yeah,
all, like,
yeah.
what
I
is
have
it with
plenty of
these
thoughts
people
about
and the
that.
streamers?
I don't
Stop
know.
hanging out with streamers. You are a grown ass man. You are a grown man. Why are you hanging out with a streamer?
Yeah, that shit was so corny, and he got exactly what he deserved. That's what happens when you hang out with those people that shit like that. So Puka, you learned your lesson, hopefully. I see that gif of him doing that stupid ass little dance and pose all the time. It's so funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's so funny, but it's bad. It's a bad luck. And
Like, I
again, you
don't
said it perfectly.
understand.
You're a clown for even going on stream with that guy. That should not even have been something on your radar.
Like, what
And
about Aiden Ross is cool or
I don't
funny or
know.
anything that you want to hang out with that guy?
As an NFL player, right? Like you could probably hang out with
As
any other
anybody.
streamer. Yeah. Like
Like, I just don't understand what do people see in that
wasn't
guy for
like
real?
that.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's it's beyond me. It's beyond me.
Like, I might be old because I don't get a lot. I mean, of course, there's some streamers that are cool and stuff like that, but
Yeah, for sure.
when you talk about like certain ones like Aiden Ross and Neon, I mean, Neon is a complete dweeb, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Why would you be in the same room as that dude? I mean, come
And then
on.
you get in trouble immediately. It's like it's just the jokes write themselves sometimes.
Seriously.
But yeah, that is my clown of the week so far for this week. All right. I think that was a good show. I think we can wrap it up here. Unless you have any other final nominations.
Um, now who's ahead in the picks? Because I know I picked Alabama, you picked Alabama, and you actually beat me this
Well,
week because you
this
picked
week,
A&M. I mean, you
this
picked
week is
Miami.
different. I'm still way behind you in total
Well,
picks.
overall, but yeah, this week you
Yeah.
beat me 2-1. I'm pretty sure.
This week we both got Bama. We both missed on A&M.
Oh,
I
you
missed
didn't
on
pick Miami?
no, I didn't.
Oh,
You beat
wow.
me. You beat me 2-1 because I took Tulane
I
to
beat
cover.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, we
And Ole
didn't pick
Miss
the Oregon
covered.
game, did we?
We did pick the Oregon game. We both picked Oregon didn't cover.
Oh, no, they didn't cover.
Minus 21. Oh shit, you're
Yeah,
right.
we won 40. It was like 34-51. Yeah, we won
So
by
you
17.
went 2-2. I went 1-3.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah, because it's freaking Oregon. Thanks, guys.
Damn.
Yeah, tough. Definitely tough. But all right.
Hey, well, I still won there. I'm be like, I've been whooping your behind all year, bro.
Yeah. You got your look
I
back
could
from
probably
last year
lose
for
the rest of
sure.
the games and still be beating you.
Yeah. I think you got it. I think you got it at this point. I think you got it at this point. You got the trophy.
Wow, I thought you picked Miami, bro. Okay, because you don't like Miami. That's why you ain't pick them.
Yeah, I was not gonna pick Miami. No, I was hate watching that game the whole time. I was hate watching that game. When Tony fumbled, I was in heaven. But
Bro, I just
A&M's
thought
not serious.
A&M, man. I know they're. Yeah, I think that's it, man. So I am still winning in the. I did win that weekend. I'm winning overall with the pick. So all right.
All right. Make sure if you're not, you're subscribed on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this. Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're also on YouTube, audio only. You just search the Pigskin Live, and we should be there. Um, yeah, appreciate the support throughout the season, and we will see you guys next week to talk about these not quarter, yeah, quarterfinal games.
Yep.
Until then, peace. Steph, enjoy the game. We'll talk.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.